The next day, Cousin Ida went to the train station to pick up a package. "You children are to wait for me on the platform," she said. "No wandering away, no unnecessary giggling, no teasing or wrestling, no buying of candy or kicking of cans." Cousin Ida turned to Chief. "As for you," she said, "no barking, no biting, no scratching, no whimpering, no anything." Satisfied that the rules had been laid down, Cousin Ida disappeared into the depot. The Daylight Limited was stopped in the station, sitting on the tracks like a snake sleeping in the sun. The smell of food floated from the dining car. Chief sniffed. There was steak in the air. Chief loved steak. He jumped from the bench, bounded across the platform, and leaped onto the train. Tuck and Billy ran after him. Chief dashed through the dining car, following his nose to the kitchen. "Who do we have here?" the chef smiled. "I'm sorry, mister," Billy said breathlessly. "Our dog smelled food." "He must be hungry," said the chef. "I was just whipping up a little dinner for Gypsy, Miss LaRue's dog. There's some left over." "Loretta LaRue is on this train?" asked Tuck, his eyes opening wide. "She was the most famous movie star in Hollywood. Can I get her autograph?" "Miss LaRue has a private car all the way at the end of the train," said the chef. "She doesn't like visitors." "But she's Tuck's all-time favorite star," said Billy. "It would mean so much to him." The chef scratched his chin. "I'll make you a deal," he said to Tuck. "If you promise not to be a pest, I'll let you deliver Gypsy's dinner. At least you'll get to see Miss LaRue." Tuck grinned and shook the chef's hand so hard that he finally had to ask Tuck to stop. With Gypsy's dinner in hand, Tuck and Billy were heading to Loretta LaRue's private car when the engine suddenly shot out a cloud of white steam. "All aboard!" the conductor called. "Next stop, San Francisco!" "Billy, the train is leaving!" exclaimed Tuck. Another blast of steam rose up. The train lurched forward. "Uh-oh," said Billy. "We're moving." Billy grabbed Chief, and they tried to get to the exit, pushing their way through the crowded parlor car. The train picked up speed. The clickety-clack of the wheels grew louder and faster. Tuck looked out the window. The station was far back in the distance now. Up ahead, he could see the pine-covered mountains that ran along the California coast. "Looks like we're going to San Francisco," Tuck said. Billy giggled. This was definitely against Cousin Ida's rules. Loretta LaRue's name was written in gold letters on the door of her private car. Tuck knocked. Billy and Chief waited in the shadows. "Who is it?" came the throaty voice from inside. "I've brought Gypsy's dinner," said Tuck. The door flew open, and there stood Loretta LaRue. "Thank goodness you're here," she said. "Gypsy was getting very cranky. Come in." Loretta sat down on a red velvet chair. "Put the bowl near me," she said to Tuck. "Gypsy doesn't like to eat alone." Loretta looked out the window as the Daylight Limited chugged up the mountain pass. Large rocks were scattered on top of jagged cliffs. "This view reminds me of when I made Rio Rojo," she said. "Did you see that movie?" "3 times, ma'am," answered Tuck. "You're a good boy," she smiled. Suddenly, Tuck heard a rumbling noise. He looked out the window, and what he saw made his heart pound fast. Several of the rocks had come loose and were tumbling down the mountain, heading right toward them. "Watch out!" Tuck yelled. "It's a rock slide!" Smack! Rocks pounded into their car. Crash! A large rock hit the train just where Loretta's car connected to the one in front. "Oh no!" Tuck moaned. "The coupler has been hit." "What's a coupler?" screamed Loretta. "It's what hooks us up to the rest of the train," said Tuck. "Ours is broken almost in half." "What will become of us?" cried Loretta. Tuck looked at the twisted metal coupler. He had a sinking feeling in the bottom of his stomach. The coupler held for a moment, but it was too damaged to last. It rattled and shook under the strain. "Help!" sobbed Loretta. "We're coming undone!" The weakened hook gave way. Loretta's car broke away from the Daylight Limited and began to slide back, picking up speed as it rolled down the steep grade. Billy stared in horror. My brother's in there, she screamed. We have to stop that car. They have a handbrake inside, said the conductor, but Miss LaRue doesn't even know it's there. I'll tell Tuck, said Billy. They're halfway down the mountain, said the conductor. He can't hear you. Yes, he can, said Billy. Just get me to the whistle. Billy and Chief ran after the conductor. There was no time to lose. Billy knew that Tuck would understand her. Their father had taught them all about whistle signals. 2 short blasts to go forward, 4 short blasts to brake. She took hold of the whistle cord and pulled. The car with Tuck and Loretta inside was zooming downhill faster than a roller coaster. Tuck felt as if they were going to fly right off the tracks. The accident had happened so fast. He was afraid, very afraid, and he didn't know what to do. Then he heard the whistle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 short blasts. It was the signal to brake. Is there a handbrake in here? Tuck shouted to Loretta. I'm an actress, she cried. I make entrances and exits. I don't know anything about trains. Tuck looked all over the car, but he could not find the brake. Again, he heard 4 short blasts. Billy was talking to him from the engine, telling him to find the brake. It was nowhere to be seen. Tuck's eyes scanned every detail of the car, the polished oak panels, the silk window shades, Loretta's pink feathered hat hanging on the wall. The hat! Tuck cried. It's just what I've been looking for. Don't be silly, said Loretta. Pink is definitely not your color. Tuck yanked the hat off the wall. The brake! He pulled it as hard as he could. I thought that was an odd place for a hat rack, said Loretta. The mighty brake screeched, sparks flew. Time seemed to stand still. The speeding car ground to a stop. When the Daylight Limited pulled into the San Francisco station, all the passengers, including Tuck and Loretta, were tired, but safe. The train officials gathered around Loretta as she described their hair-raising adventure, dabbing at her eyes with a handkerchief. This boy is a true hero, she said, taking Tuck's hand. He saved our lives. With a lot of help from my sister, Tuck said. How can I ever thank you, children? Loretta said. Please tell me what I can do. Anything. Anything? Asked Tuck. Anything at all, said Loretta. Tuck and Billy smiled at each other. They were thinking the same thing. That night, Tuck and Billy and Chief left San Francisco on the train bound for New York City. They were riding in a deluxe compartment courtesy of Miss Loretta LaRue. Wouldn't their parents be surprised to see them at the World's Fair? With luck, the dome car would win the Invention of Tomorrow contest, and their whole family would be together to see their dream come true. The train whistle blew as Tuck and Billy crawled into their snug berths. They slept soundly, knowing that their parents were just on the other side of that whistle. It wouldn't be long before they'd all be together.